You're listening to the 100X podcast. I'm your host, Matthew. I've got Papa Big Mac, Mr. Caesar on the stage with me, and we have a super special guest and a really special episode. Michael is with us today talking about Tollan Worlds. This is the very first time ever in the history of the 100X podcast that we have sat down to talk about a game. We've talked with studios that make games, like about broader GameFi, hot term there. There's some drama associated with that one. You know, like we talked with Gala about their take on the space and the blockchain that they're building. We talked with Polkastarter, who is now Game3.gg. We talked with them about the space in general, right? We have never talked with a game just to talk about the game. And I think, to me, this marks a really cool turning point, not just for our show, but for like the greater space. We've been gamers in crypto for a long time, and crypto games just aren't fun. There's some, but I think as a space, we failed at making them fun. And I know I said this would be a brief intro, but let me tell a story real quick. I'm not a clubbing guy. I'm not a hang out in a bar guy. I'm not a go to parties guy. That's not my scene, but we were at Permissionless, and I was shoulder to shoulder, packed in like a can of sardines in a club. And I saw in the corner of the room a giant with a really cool hat with a feather in it, and walked over, and he was talking to a friend of mine. So walked over in the corner of the room, and we started talking, learned that you were a game developer, that you've been working on this for a long time. And you asked me a question. You said, you want to try the game sometime? Oh, dude, there's the hat. Look at that. You said, you want to try the game sometime? And I was like, yeah, man, I'd love to try it. Thinking that meant like, you'll send me a demo or something. But you were like, oh, right now? And you whipped out a laptop in the middle of a club where everyone is like shoulder to shoulder drinking or dancing. And you whip out a whole freaking mouse pad. And we sit down and try out one of the first levels of Tollan Worlds. And my thought was, I said to another one of my friends there, Jim, that was with us, that, dude, that was probably the most fun that I've ever had playing a game in Web3. And it's not my typical genre. So you have succeeded at converting me from different genres and actually making a blockchain-based game fun. That's a huge win, dude. I know that was a big intro, but I wanted to give the context of how we met. We ate tacos at 11 o'clock at night in the middle of Austin, Texas. It was a blast. Tell me, Michael, about yourself. Tell me about Tollan Worlds. Tell me about what you're building, the story of how you got here. We'll dive right in.
For sure, man. Again, thank you for having me here. Before I jump into my story of the company, the game, and everything, something interesting you said about converting you from other genres to something we're building. It happened to me as well. Like, I used to play CS:GO, like, I wouldn't say professionally, but like semi-professionally.
Yeah.
But still, like, this genre, I never, like, when I was growing up, I never really played many RPG games. But when I tried similar games to ours, and when we started building and we started like testing and stuff, I was like, yeah, this is definitely my jam. And I would give it to other first-person shooters players, and they were like, yeah, this is definitely something I would like to play. And I was like, interesting. So there is this overlap between people who like different genres, but would still like to play something we're building. You know, so it was interesting observation from my side.
Competitive. It felt competitive. Maybe that's what it is. Because I would say 9 out of 10 games that I play are like competitive shooters. You came from the same world.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I grew up playing Halo competitively, played COD competitively back in the golden days, the glory days. And I don't know. It's less about the shooting and more about like the competition and the adrenaline. And when you were like, oh, dude, you're going to beat this boss on the first try, and I failed. I was so close, but I was like, man, back against the wall. I was having fun. It was cool.
You spent a while there. Like, you spent solid 30 minutes playing the game.
27 minutes. I'll remember. It took me 27 minutes.
Nice. Interesting. What did you feel competitive about our game?
I think it was that, like, I'm such a competitive person that as soon as you told me that, like, well, it takes the average person like 45 minutes to play through this, I was like, no, it won't. Ain't taking me 45 minutes. And I was trying.
He said, I'm not an average player.
Yeah, trying so hard to speed run on my first try. And I got a good time, but I then got showed up immediately by my friend Jim, who was there as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool, man. So yeah, our backstory, how did we come to this? Why am I here? And what's going on in general? Uh, I started this company when I was still back in college in 2021. I got some more free time, and my friend called me and he was like, "Hey, do you know what NFT is?" I was like, "No, I have no idea." And then he told me, he introduced me to this world of blockchain, decentralized technologies, and all of that. And we just started thinking about what we can build in the industry. Fast forward, I would say 6 months. I'm starting this company on intersection of technology, art, and blockchain. Blockchain is part of technology, but you got me, like gaming, blockchain, and art, um, because those were my interests basically. And we were basically prototyping idea for several months and came to the idea of Tollan Worlds in the form that it is right now. Even though it's still being polished and still many things are being defined in our game design, we came to this idea in March 2022. And what we were doing basically is building something between games like Diablo, Path of Exile. What else is there? Like action RPGs, and on the other side of the spectrum is Minecraft, Terraria. Don't Starve Together. And when you combine them and take best components of both of them, you get something in between. Something like Zelda, even though Zelda is also more on the action RPG side, it still has many action mechanics. It's a lot about puzzles and stuff. Uh, so we want to move even more towards farm simulators with action RPG elements.
Oh wow! So you really took a lot of inspiration from both worlds, and it's funny that you mentioned "Don't Starve Together." I don't think a lot of people know that game, but me and my wife love to play that game.
Really?
She stopped playing it because she got tired of every time she died, she had to start all over. So, or she had to go get all her stuff. So we stopped playing that for a while. But that's really awesome. So I guess I have a question here. So what came first, the idea of like, hey, I want to build a game, or hey, I want to build something in the Web3 space and blockchain? What came first? Was it like, hey, I have this cool game idea. Maybe now that I've learned about Web3 blockchain, I want to integrate it there. Or you're like, hey, I have learned about this amazing technology. What can I build on there? And that's where you came up with the game idea. What was that like?
This is an amazing question, and I will have a question to you afterwards as well. But to answer this, I think I was exploring myself a lot even before I got to college. I wanted to do art, but my parents pushed me to do software engineering. But I was doing computer science in college, but I always wanted to do art. I spent a while being a photographer, so I was always into something visual, So then when I got an opportunity to build something on my own, I was like, I wanted to be related to art, but I also want this to solve problems, because I can't, like, I will not get enough motivation if it doesn't solve any problems in the world in general. And this is where the blockchain component takes place, basically, because right now what is happening in the blockchain space, and what I like it for, it disrupts the industry standards. And I wouldn't even call this industry standards. I'll try to explain it as simple as possible. Right now, what we're doing is printing money for larger corporations. Right? We're printing money for Blizzard. Uh, we're printing money for, generally, let's say Microsoft, because they own a bunch of stuff. Uh, so, like, starting from World of Warcraft tokens that introduced pay to win to World of Warcraft in early 2010s, now with Diablo Immortal, Overwatch being also turned into something like this. It's just so sad, because the company is not ran for players to engage them anymore, but it's ran for just corporate people to uh, increase their pockets and to have larger valuation for Blizzard Activision to sell it to Microsoft for a larger price. And already, yeah, that's this is just and like they control the market, so there's really nothing we can do about it. It's like Apple with their 30% tax on every purchase you do through Apple Store, because they own distribution, right? And I was playing a lot of those mobile games. I tried Diablo Immortal, I tried some other games, and there is like, you can buy boosters, um and you will pay like 10 or one to $10 to developer to do something faster in the game. But it just feels unfair towards other players, because like they need to spend their time doing something, and you can just swipe credit card and you devalue their time. But what on-chain games introduce is games are being more autonomous from studios, and they're being owned by players more and more. I'll go into this deeper a little later, but it's basically we're getting to why Ethereum started, because Vitalik Buterin didn't like something in World of Warcraft that Blizzard removed something. And now we're coming to the end of the whole circle where games are getting to why it all started, basically.
And now quickly a word from our sponsors. Astrobit makes automated trading easier than ever. Connect to one of the integrated DEXs or centralized exchanges and start trading in minutes. Bring your own strategy in any language from anywhere. We also have you covered if you don't have a strategy. Browse our exclusive marketplace and find a strategy that fits your needs. Looking for a Bitcoin scalper, an ETH swing trader? Want to trade Doge automatically? Select one of the strategies built by experts and get started today. Life is hard. Crypto doesn't have to be. Set it, forget it, Astrobit. Use code 100X for 20% off your first month.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I totally agree with you. I think once games started becoming freemium, where you can play for free, but everything that you did, you could boost by paying money, I think it really did become unfair. I'm one of those people that gets into games that are free to play and things like that, but with an idea of like, I'm just going to be completely free to play. It doesn't matter how much of an edge other people have over me, but if I can compete on a free to play level, then I'm sticking it up to the man. I'm not falling for their trap of, buying into those like subscription packs. And I mean, sometimes they are very eye catching with their battle passes and everything. But yeah, that's really awesome. So, I mean, you had your whole journey with college, and I totally understand that where your parents were like, hey, we understand you like art, but we want you to have something that's stable, something where you're actually going to get a job.
That's right.
But you said, you know what, I'm actually going to combine the two and create a Tollan Worlds. One of the things that you told us, I think, when we first had our first conversation, is that even though there's blockchain elements, Tollan Worlds is really, you wouldn't consider it a Web3 game. I know there was like Web 2.5. What do you think makes Tollan Worlds not fully a Web3 game and closer to what people would expect from a regular game out in the Web2 space?
And maybe a little more context on that question is that you were breaking down, you referenced Vitalik Buterin, right? That even he saw, hey, there's like an economy issue here. We have seen, and I mentioned right at the beginning of the conversation, like when we talked to Gala and they were like, please stop calling it GameFi. And I talked to some people and they're still in the play to earn space. And I talked to some people and they're don't call it anything except for like gaming with asset ownership or something. Like that's not catchy, but that like summarizes what they like about it. What are you guys actually utilizing the blockchain for to make gaming better? You presented the problem of, hey, the modern game experience is broken, right? Here's X, Y, and Z as to why it's broken. So what are you guys using blockchain to solve? How are you solving it? And then get into the 2.5.
Great questions. I'll answer both of them together. What I'm seeing in the industry right now is people call it differently. People still exploring themselves. Somebody doing play to earn. Somebody's doing GameFi. Somebody's doing Web 2.5, Web 2.75, Web 2.9.0 quarters or something. It's the sign of maturing industry, right? We went through the hype cycle of play to earn games. We're moving forward. We went through the whole like really deep in the market. Right now, we're slowly maturing. People exploring themselves. They're looking for better implementations. I see it from Web 2 to Web 3. It's a spectrum, and spectrum of possibilities, of the amount of decentralization, of permissionlessness, and trustlessness. I hope is the word. And zooming out a little bit as well. There's what I was talking about pay to win games, right? You can pay developers a certain amount of money,
and that's not just crypto. Better. That's like every single game that you play on your phone.
Crypto is yes, exactly.
All of the mobile games, most games with loot boxes. That's FIFA. Caesar's real into FIFA. That's pay to win. Yeah, they're all pay to win right now.
Unfortunately, and pay to win is also a spectrum, right? And like it's usually way more toxic on mobile games. Like it became an industry standard for them to be pay to win because of the free to play nature. You need to make money somehow, and this is just the way you do it. But what on-chain games introduce is there is also some sort of pay to win and play to earn kind of together. But instead of paying money to developers to just for asset that they just print out of the factory, right? Like if you want this level 10 ship, we can give it to you for $5. But what's happening in Web3 games, you buy this ship from somebody who grinded for it. And you give money to this person. This person grinded for the ship, he made it. His steps are validated by the blockchain, so like even if it's developer, you see exactly how they got to this ship. That they didn't just print it to themselves. This is why those assets have actual value, because it has this proof of humans spending time doing that. It has this proof of work.
Right, it's tied to time.
It's how blockchain
proof
start,
of
right?
work gaming.
Proof of work.
There it is.
Exactly, it's proof of work, and it's on the blockchain. This is why this asset has actual value. And I don't feel anymore like when I'm playing those corporate games, Diablo Immortal. I know I will pay $10. They'll just print it. They're making it out of the thin air. This asset, this 10 level sword that they're giving me. But in the game, I know behind this 10 level ship or sword or whatever, there's blood, sweat, and tears, people putting a lot of their time into this. And I feel comfortable paying this because I know developers, yes, for making the game, for making the platform, they get 10% or like 5 to 10%, maybe more. But the majority of this money will go to the person who spent their time doing that. And developers get their fair cut for developing the platform. Of course, I don't want to completely avoid paying them anything. They deserve money, but let's also benefit people who spend their time doing that. So here's that. And this is just vision we have right now. Again, like not every game should have pay to win. Like I'm really critical towards pay to win. We had many conversations about that in our community. And yeah, I'll get to description of how we use blockchain. But if you guys have any questions meanwhile, feel free to go ahead.
No, I think you can definitely just go ahead and jump into
Cool.
the next question.
Cool. Because I talk too much sometimes. So like,
No,
feel free to
you're good.
interrupt me if you
You
want.
are the guest of honor. Your space
Gotcha.
is to talk. So you're good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so as far as like your primary blockchain use case for Tollan Worlds is this, yeah, you're taking my time and valuing it on the blockchain. Proof of work, play and work, however you want to define that. But essentially, I play, I own my assets, I can resell things that I have earned on the blockchain.
It's somewhat as you described it, but it's a little bit different right now with real time games. Even games that are not real time. An example of not real time game can be like chess, right? Like you have moves, you have one move, then your opponent makes a move. Chess is really easy to put in the blockchain, but game like Counter-Strike, right, where if you move your screen 1 pixel to the right or 1 pixel any direction, it needs to be on the blockchain. Any fraction of the second, any move you do, anything happening on your screen, it needs to be on the blockchain. And level of technology, the scale of the blockchain is just not there yet. So it's not as easy for Tollan Worlds and similar titles like us to put the core game on a blockchain. But there are many components that we were able to put on the blockchain. And our primary goal, of course, is to introduce as much decentralization and level of is trustlessness a word? Is this actually a word? Can I say that?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's trustless. Yeah,
but yes, I think
this like the thing, this.
Yeah, it's trustless, right? The reason I got into crypto was not gaming. Actually, it was finance. It was this idea that like,
right,
A, I can make a lot of money quickly if I gamble at all. So I came in with maybe a little bit of a bad mindset that I've of course corrected. But
yeah.
B was this like ideology of trustlessness, if that's a word. The idea that like, hey, dude, I don't have to trust someone else to manage my money. The ledger has evolved. We are now on the blockchain where everything is transparent. There is no middleman. Middlemen are dead in crypto. And so you're taking that ideology and applying it to gaming as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I think
this is
what you were saying is very true, because the technology is still not there yet where games can just be fully on chain. I know one of the solutions that people are doing right now, especially with like shooter games and things like that want to have blockchain components, they'll just say, hey, play this match. Once the match is over, we'll just take the results of that game, and then that will be posted on the blockchain, and then you can track those, which then leaves a lot of space open for things to happen while that match is being played that you're not able to track.
exactly.
It's
Yes.
not trustless.
Exactly. So this is my main problem with Web 2.5 games. This is why, in our case, any Web 2 components, any off-chain components have no influence over Web 3 components. It only works vice versa. Anything off-chain, anything on-chain can influence off-chain components. For example, if you have NFT, you can get access to closed areas in the game. You can have access to additional content and stuff, or certain tournaments, but you will never be able to get NFT or anything on chain by performing off-chain action, because this is just like, it makes blockchain redundant.
Do you think, is there a way for us to see a demo? Because I think the next few questions would be definitely better as we see you play through the game, so the questions make more sense for anyone watching or listening to this.
Okay.
Maybe not listening to it because they're not going to be able to see the demo, but anybody watching it will be able to at least walk through with us and see what we're talking about when we ask the questions.
All right, if you're listening and you can't see this, we are looking at Tollan World, a little bit of gameplay, the first adventure. This is the same one I played, right, Michael?
Yeah, and this is the same gamepad you played with.
Dude, look at that, man. I played with his gamepad.
It's like a rug. Look at this. Look, it's huge.
Yes, sir. The dark passage leads deeper, the lifeless air in your lungs. After days of wandering in Tollan Peak's mine shafts, you finally saw a torchlight coming from the end of the railway. I'm just narrating what it says here. The gameplay is pretty fun. I think it's the first pixel game I've played since games were actually needing to be pixelated. Have you played?
I think the Mario games are the only ones that I've really played pixelated.
Yeah, I think I played that. I had a Sega Genesis that was like my first gaming experience as a kid, with Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64. So most of those games are pixelated.
So I'm just, if you wanted me to comment anything here, I'm just going through first levels. It's like the first room. You just spawn here, a little bit of a tutorial. You learn how to hack it and slash. You learn how to use swords. Here you have your inventory. And I pressed escape already a couple of times, and it quits from the window, and I have to search it again on my computer. Sorry. Yeah, here we're getting our first spell.
So I guess as you're walking through here, right? So when you were looking at your inventory, obviously you have like your potions. This part I tried myself as well. So you see the abilities that you have, the potions, the hat, the sword that you get, then the little blue things that you pick up. I don't know if those are energy orbs, but what parts of these or what aspects of these things that you're picking up, interacting with, will be part of the blockchain, or is all of this going to be off Web 2 just on servers?
So this is all of this information you ask is it's to be announced yet. As I said, like we're putting as many things on the blockchain as possible while not sacrificing UX. And currently, as I said, with real-time games, it's a little bit tough. But we have certain things we're working on that I can't really talk publicly about yet. But I would say people should be really excited about that.
Dope. This spell you're using, I feel like that's a different one than when I played. Is it procedurally generated?
You get random one. Yeah, exactly. Every time you play, you have we have 4 spells currently available in demo, not counting what is this?
Like
a dash. You had a fireball, yeah, and I have a lightning strike.
Is the whole world or the whole game, as you progress through the levels, generated on the go? So like not everyone will have the exact same experience, but they'll be adaptive. Like if I play this game 10 times, will my experience be slightly different each time?
There are certain areas of the world where your experience is unique. There are certain dungeons that are called roguelite, meaning that when you go into those dungeons, and they look somehow like this tunnel, right? Like this map you see here. overall world will not be underground. Like you will have many green areas, you will have a desert and a huge city. The worlds are going to be massive. But certain components, certain dungeons are like that.
Nice.
So every time you play,
first game like that.
So this gameplay wise, like this is just a piece of the puzzle because this is the dungeon mechanic.
Yes.
Not the what'd you call it? The Stardew Valley mechanic. Like this is not outside in the pretty world. You are ravaging a dungeon, fighting some spiders and bosses and collecting stuff.
That's right.
And
yeah,
this
is only dungeon mechanic here. We're gonna have multiple demos along the way of development, where players will be able to try different mechanics from farming to building to crafting to more dungeons. Different visual style, different locations. We have a lot to come.
And for people looking to try the game right now, we'll obviously put the website on the description and everything, so they will have all the links available. If they were to try the game out, the same thing that you're trying out right now, does any of the progression stay with them once the full game is out, or is this just like, hey, just try the demo of what you can expect, but then they'll start fresh once the full game is ready?
So, as I said, before the full game, there will be a number of different demos. And this demo right here, it will not be a start of the main game. It will be just like one of the dungeons in the main game. And obviously, you can't have progress saved from the middle game when you're just starting a new game. It's really just a demo. But people were able to get certain rewards by playing it. It was their proof of play, let's say, of completing the demo.
Yeah, because you got some special character or NFT or something for beating this early on, didn't you?
That's right.
Doing a puzzle, so there's puzzle mechanics in here. When can the general public start playing what you're playing right now?
So what I'm playing right now is available to public. You can play demo anytime you want. You just go to our website. You can play in a browser or on Elixir right now. It's a great Web3 launcher. But again, you can just play in a browser. You don't need a wallet. You just put your email, make yourself a password, and play the game. And right now I'm going to give everybody a spoiler. So whoever wants to be surprised when playing the game, you shouldn't be watching right now. Like a spoiler alert, but I'm going further. Here's the boss fight.
This is the boss that I tried so hard to beat on my first try and failed.
I think I'm giving a lot of alpha to people right now because I know exactly the way to kill it, but I'm going to walk around a little bit just to show what he's capable of. He spawns a bunch of skeletons. He throws fireballs, and if you have a fireball skill, you can have a nice fireball fight with him. His aim is not the best one. Let's just put it this way as well. He did a little. I don't know why he's shooting there.
Yeah, who coded that?
And we're almost done with him. Here we go.
And I died first try, so you smoked me. Cool. I don't know if we need to go do the rest of the darkness demo. Don't spoil that part for him. Make him enjoy this. Sweet gameplay. I genuinely had a lot of fun playing it. Not normally my style. Don't usually play pixel games. I tend to care a little bit more about graphics, but you guys have made it gorgeous. And then I mostly play shooters. Starfield's breaking that from me, I guess, but that's a shooter too. But it was fun. People can see that it's fun. If you're watching, if you're listening, hopefully all the sounds made you think it was fun. And Caesar's questions kept going. That's rad. So people can start playing the demo now. What about when the game itself is? So obviously you've been developing for a couple of years, but you're a ways out from the full public launch. You've told me that it's not just going to be a mobile game, but you're going for the full launch. When is that hopeful for?
You said it's not a mobile game. We're going for a full launch?
It's not exclusively mobile. You're launching on multiple platforms. Your goal is to full release game. When do you think?
Right. I wouldn't even say we are aiming for mobile at all at this point. It's going to be primarily PC and console game. a full launch, I would just say that we are working on the next demo right now, and people should be excited about it. It's going to show way more mechanics that you can currently experience here, but we don't have a precise date of the full game launch. What I really can say, it's not going to happen next year for sure, but you will have many experiences, many demos, many mini games along the way that will keep you excited, and will showcase different mechanics of the game from different angles.
Cool. And for people looking to participate in this, obviously having it be part of on the blockchain and Web3, when people hear that, they're like, hey, how can I participate in this on more of an investment side? Are people able to invest in any part of this in any sort of way? How can they get involved in the financial side?
So this is where our worlds don't really go along with each other, right? Because we made when we were distributing our first collection of avatars, the way we were doing this is we were trying to filter as many players who are actually interested in playing the game from pure investors, because people needed to play the game, beat the boss, and then participate in our Discord, so some sort of social challenges. Then on our website, we made a special UI where they could make a party with other players, unite, and only this way they could get an avatar for free. We never sold our avatars to people. And then they can, of course, resell them on secondary market. So if you're interested, you can get an avatar on secondary market. It's not a financial advice in any way. We're not selling them. We only get some percentage of royalty from secondary sales.
Right,
but
you
if
guys don't have you don't have a token. There's no seed sale. If you want to,
what is it?
Yep. If you want to invest at that point, it's like you talked about earlier. It's you're buying things that people are grinding for, and you have to essentially speculate on the value of what is this thing worth that someone else put time into to create.
And yeah, if you actually interested in the game, if you want to get more benefits when game launches, like access to extra content, maybe some extra cosmetics, and some other benefits along the way, you might want to consider buying our avatars. And there's an article we have on the website explaining like what exactly benefits of owning avatar is. So you can go through them, make your own research, and decide for yourself if you want to have it or not. But generally, even if you don't want to get an avatar, join our community, join our Discord, participate in events, engage with our community. We have all kinds of stuff going on all the time. We've been actually a little quiet last couple of months. It's been a lot going on, but we're getting back on track with our community building, and we have a lot of contests and other interesting events for community will start happening this and following months.
You froze. You froze up on my end, but hopefully it uploaded correctly.
I hope so. Yeah, it says uploading here, so okay, I hope it's going to be fine.
We'll mess with that afterwards. So you guys have been busy. You've been grinding. You were at ETH Denver. You were at Permissionless. That's where we met you. You've been to like every single event, you said. I love it. I love that your idea. It's cool to me because you have a pretty unique perspective in that. I would say the average person.
What was that? I think I just found a bug. I wasn't able to find it forever.
Into the building.
Yes. Interesting.
Nice.
Go ahead.
You guys have a unique perspective that you are applying the ideology of decentralization and trustlessness to gaming and not
exactly
to finances. And that's, I don't know, man, that's pretty sick. I haven't seen anyone do that to that degree, even though like, hey, it's not about money for us. It's about owning your experience, about owning the gameplay. That's rad. I think it's a blast. I love it.
I would add something here. Like every business needs to be profitable. Every business needs to make money. But what we believe right now, community is the strongest asset any business can have right now. Because this is, I mean, I'm just gonna leave it at this point. It's just like this is like really the strongest thing you can have. Stepping into an era of the centralized internet, because everything will be forked, everything will be copied. Like every game will have multiple forks. But if you have a loyal community who wants to play your game because they trust you'll make good choices, and you have a good legacy behind yourself as well, and you were able to engage this community, then this is just a formula to win in this again era of internet.
Love it, man.
And for all those people who are looking to join that community, how can they? What's the best way for them to join? Get interacting? Should they just join your Discord? Is that the easiest way?
This is the easiest way. Yeah, discord.gg/Tollan. I'm sure it's going to be somewhere in notes or description here.
Yes, sir.
I've got one final closing question, and it is: you guys are deep in development. What can the people who are enjoying Tollan Worlds as a game, as an idea, as a concept, what can they look forward to, like, in the short term? Obviously, I see where your long-term release date is, everything you're building. Without exposing too much alpha, what should they look forward to right now?
I would say a lot of community events. We will be publishing a short description of our story of the world. We have 3 main capitals. We will publish description of them early next week from now. I don't know when this podcast is going live, but it's probably already published. And we want people to create this world together with us. So we will be organizing multiple contests, art, lore, other things, so people create this IP together.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's
Tying
awesome.
in the community. Awesome, man. Michael, it was a blast. Loved meeting you at Permissionless.
Likewise.
Loved seeing this game. Can't wait to play it some more. Should have found out about it sooner so I could have earned myself one of those avatars early on.
Now he's just going to be a fake one where he just goes and buys it. He didn't earn it himself.
We should, you know what? We should give away an avatar to somebody who will ask the best question in comment section or whatever there is.
Yeah.
Out there.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Drop something awesome wherever you're listening. Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. Doesn't matter where you're listening. Drop something awesome, and we will give away an avatar so you can enjoy this game. Appreciate it, Michael. Thank you, Tollan Worlds. You can find their links in the descriptions wherever you're listening. Make sure you give these guys a follow and support them and be a part of building the world. If you're into gaming, if you're into blockchain, if you're into the merging of those worlds, I don't know, man. You're the first time I've had just a blast playing a game and didn't have to make excuses about it. I feel like most games I play, I make excuses about why it's not that fun right now. And I didn't have to make an excuse about yours. I came back. Actually, I texted Caesar that night and was like, dude, I just found the first game is actually fun. And that is, as someone who's a gamer and as someone who's building a game, I'm sure that is high praise.
You set very high expectations for the next time he goes out to a club.
Yep, exactly. Next time I go to a club, dude, if someone doesn't pull me in the corner.
I'm always with my backpack with laptop.
Yep,
I'm always ready to strike. Exactly.
Play at a mouse pad, play some games. It was awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, our pleasure, man. We appreciate you for listening.
Sure.
Make sure you follow these guys where they are building. We'll see you soon. Much love.